Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Hope everyone is doing really well today and hope you're having a fantastic morning. Well, now we have something very exciting lined up for you today. Our next guest is someone who is truly remarkable and is making waves in the fashion industry, especially when it comes to modest wear. Now, she's a talented young fashion designer, the founder of a popular brand called Hoodjabi. And so now we're going to be welcoming her to our show, and it is Sadia Hussain. So, Assalamu alaikum, Sadia.
Wa alaikum salam.
It is great to have you here with us on the couch today. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. Thank you for inviting me again.
No, thank you. Of course, we have your lovely samples here, some of your samples here on the sofa and on our mannequins. But before we go into more detail about the clothing itself and the textures, which all women love to discuss, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how this all came about. Now, I know you studied fashion, so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so obviously when I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer. I'd always watched my mom sew clothes, and I was really interested in that, and it's something I wanted to always be involved in. So everything I did from a young age to now, till uni, is to get to where I am today. So I did graduate in fashion, and then I went ahead and started working for other fashion designers, but I think the fashion industry is really toxic. I just felt like I didn't fit in, I wasn't wanted, and it just kind of put me off fashion in a way. So then I moved back home, and then I kind of just left fashion. I was like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
But so then I just started working a normal 9-to-5 job, and then I started designing clothes for myself and got back into it, and then I launched Hoodjabi. So the reason why I did modest streetwear and activewear was because I was someone who was always active. I loved playing sports, being involved in any outdoor activity, hiking. It's just, I'm an adventurous person, and that's just who I am. But I felt like there was a gap in the market when it came to modest
activewear.
Modest activewear. Like, it's out there, but I feel like it's very limited in terms of style.
Because you do tend to see lots of the glamorous, the elegant, flowing abayas and stuff. And that's absolutely beautiful, to be fair. I love that sort of stuff anyhow. But you're right in terms of being active and practical, because you don't want to be flapping around, with all your with all your material, and you don't want to wear your best chiffons and your silk when you are active. So that, I guess that's where it's come into. But where did the name come from? It's Hoodjabi.
Yeah, Hoodjabi.
As in the hood.
Yeah, hood. Yeah, hood. So I wanted a name that was kind of like mixing both streetwear and modesty together, and then came up with Hoodjabi. So hood represents streetwear, street style, and then the hijab aspect of the name represents modesty. And I just wanted to combine both worlds together. And created this.
I mean, so are all your abayas with hoods?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, so that, I mean, of course, it's more fitting with the name as well.
Yeah.
And so, growing up, we all kind of saw our mums, and I still see my mum, and she's still doing bits and pieces for me here and there, sewing things, cutting, patterns, and putting them all together. I mean, it's fascinating, and it is an amazing skill to have, and you've seen your mum do it, and so you've got yourself into it. So how much of this is actually your own doing?
So I do the designs, so all the sketches. Sometimes I would make the samples, the toiles, myself, and I do technical files, then communicate with the factory, and then they either make samples as well, and then create the final item for me.
So how many designs do you have?
I think we just have under 10. So again, I'm not a fast fashion business. I know I've got a lot of customers saying, oh, we need more designs, but I'm obviously I'm just working on my own right now, so I'm trying to keep up, but at the same time, I don't want to go down the route of fast fashion.
So how long has this Hoodjabi been around then?
It's been 1 year and 4 months.
It's so very new.
Yeah.
And yourself, of course, you also look very young, but Ala Mubarak. But, so it's only been about a year you've been actually in business selling.
Yes, that's
right. So you got 10 good samples that you're quite content with, and that's what's working right now.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. And so how are you selecting materials? And You know, we like to touch everything. Women like to touch.
Yeah, no, they do.
You know.
So I mean, obviously, it depends on like the garment. For example, you've got the sports abaya that's made from a nylon fabric, which is used in a lot of high-end, activewear brands. So again, I wanted to go for high quality. I could have gone for polyester, but it just doesn't give you the same like properties this fabric has. So it's sweat resistant, it's cooling on your skin. So you could be working out, but you won't be sweating, you will still be cool. So again, I just do a lot of fabric research online. I go into shops, do fabric sourcing, get samples, and then kind of just see, what would work well. And then, of course, get it made and see how it looks. Because sometimes I would select a fabric, and this has happened, it's quite costly, but it just doesn't go with the design. So, then we just have to.
But I'm really glad that you're thinking about these things, because you want things that are sustainable, reusable, that sort of thing, because, we are in a time where plastic is all-time high, and it's everywhere, and all these textures as well. It's in in our clothing now, and it does have an impact, obviously, on our footprint on Earth.
It does.
But it's also you want things that are good for your skin. You want things that are good for you.
So, like, I know the nylon, obviously, that's not really sustainable, but I am looking into ways of actually changing the fabric to bamboo, which is obviously good for the environment, good for your skin. It's
there's a lot of this bamboo or eucalyptus materials that are being used now. So it's a good thing to look into, I suppose. But in terms of designs, then, so how is it that are you thinking about the sports? When you're doing designing, are you thinking about yourself? How are you coming up with these designs? Because this one's quite unique, this one in the middle.
So
it's got these things on the side. I don't know if the camera can see properly, but it's got these things on the side, like drawstring kind of on the side. So does it go all? Can you make it tighter?
So you can tighten it from the waistband. Obviously, I've kept that option in just because I was thinking of, like, myself. When I was designing this, I first started wearing abayas. And again, it was like what was out there wasn't my type. Like, it's just not something I'd wear. So I designed this first design. And I did add drawstrings, but only because it's really oversized. So you can just cinch it in a bit, but it's still modest. And then you've got the ruching down the side, which just gives it that nice, like, stylish, elegant look, but then also like streetwear. Again, this one's made from 100% recycled polyester. So again, that one's an eco-friendly fibre. So when I was designing this, I was actually thinking about myself. Obviously now I don't just think about myself, I think about everyone else.
I mean, that's how it comes about, though, doesn't it? When you know that this is there's something I like, and it's not there, it's not working, or I haven't got something, and that's where something new is created in your head, and you're thinking, well, if I'm feeling like this, must be others are feeling this way as well.
So no, definitely. I think I kind of obviously keep myself in mind, because if I'm designing, I need to be passionate about it. Like, if I launch a product, there's been like so many samples that I've got, but I'm like, no, I don't like it, and other people like it, but I don't like it. But obviously, like, I have to go with what my heart says at the end of the day.
I'm really happy, Sada, that you said that, because you just said I'm passionate about it, and that's something we don't always see. We see people say, oh yeah, there's a need for it, and then so they'll do something, but are they that driven? Is the longevity in that field, in that business? But when you have passion for something, you're going to be in it for the long run, and you're going to want to try and do the best you can to make it a good service or a good product. So I'm really happy to hear that. But tell us a little bit about this one then.
Okay, so this one's called the Hoodjabi. So it's a hoodie, abaya. You've got the haya embroidery, so hence the name Hoodjabi. The 33 represents the verse in the Quran, which is 33:59.
We just got it zoomed in at the moment.
So that verse,
so that's the verse in the Quran, you said?
So it stands for 33:59. So I didn't write the whole verse just because I thought it wouldn't be appropriate on clothing. So I just went with 33, and that verse talks about modesty and covering yourself. So then I've gone for the Hoodjabi, which is an oversized fit. And it's full coverage. You got big sleeves, drop shoulders as well. And this one's been really popular.
I can imagine. I can imagine this one being really popular.
Even
a lot
now,
of girls
I know we live in the UK and it's like spring now, but our spring is still cold. Everyone still wants this. So it's been very popular.
It is definitely. I can see this one would be a popular thing. And I love that it has the slits on the side. because when you are active, you need that for, for movement and, just for, less restriction and stuff, and being able to be active. But alhamdulillah, okay, so this is what we have here. So are you thinking about swim?
Yes, I have been thinking about that actually. I want to do it in a way where it's actually, I feel like a lot of modest swimwear that's out there, it's modest to some extent, but not to, the Islamic standards. And I do want to keep the Islamic values and stay true to it. So I think it's just a bit hard, making it really Islamically modest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, so tell me a little bit about how do you see your brand inspiring and helping women to express their own identities? So
I've actually had a lot of aspiring female boxers, aspiring coaches, reach out to me. They've purchased from my brand. I've actually gone to their gyms. I've met up with them. We've discussed modest wear, and obviously because they've already purchased, I get to hear about how it's helping them, and it does. It gives them a confidence boost in the gym. They feel comfortable in the garments. The materials are really good as well. So just knowing that I'm helping, the younger girls as well, to get back into the gym, dress more modestly as well, and help people, get closer to Deen in a way, because a lot of people do want to take the step to wearing a hijab. And I actually had a recent customer who purchased a cargo abaya, and that was her first step, wearing an abaya, and now she started wearing a hijab during Ramadan as well.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
So receiving her message, it was really nice to know that my brand is having that effect.
So do you get people saying, okay, well, I would like this, this design. Can I change the logo? Could you change it up, make it more to what I want, more bespoke, or what, could you do things? Do you do things like that?
Yes, I've been doing that. So for the Hoodjabi, we've been doing personalised names.
Yeah.
So it's on a pre-order. So they can have their own name, they can have their own number if they want, and So,
Alhamdulillah. And so you're giving them a variety. And what about in terms of, again, sometimes, when we're wearing sportswear and stuff, and, women at the gym, and you don't want it to be so clingy and stuff. So that's I guess this is where these designs, or you have other designs that, that are fitting for that, for the gym?
Okay. Yeah, so the sports bar, I know on the model right now it looks small, but it's actually really wide. It's 54 inches wide, so it is plus size friendly.
Oh, and it's got a zip on the side.
Yeah, it's got zips on the side as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of my customers who, plus size as well, they have been wearing the sports abaya and they've said it's perfect, and it doesn't cling to them as well. And again, in the cargo abaya, we do have a plus size available. So I am trying to cater towards everyone in terms of heights as well, because I'm 5'6", and I know there's a lot of other girls out there that are taller and they struggle with finding abayas that fit. So again,
because the other problem is that when you get height, they give you the width, but sometimes you don't need all that excess width.
Yeah, the width changes as well. Yeah, no, with mine that doesn't happen. So normally I keep the width the same, and then the length just changes.
Yeah.
So again, the
so
sports
it's automatically people assume that because you're tall, you're going to be huge.
No.
Yeah. But in terms of traditional, does tradition play a part in anything?
I mean, yes, I am using traditional abayas, keeping them modest. But then I'm using trying to modernize them, but obviously still keep true to I know when people hear, oh, you're modernizing abayas, they think, stuck for this and that. But no, I'm still trying to keep true to my Islamic beliefs, because I'm someone who dresses modestly, and I take Deen very seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do anything that would affect the afterlife, like if I'm doing tight garments and stuff. So no, I tend to keep them all loose.
So of course. So you're taking accountability for your work, even out on others. Okay. And so so what do you think's changed in terms of fashion? Because obviously you're in the fashion industry, you've done fashion design, you've studied it and stuff. So is this the way we're going forward? Is it going to be more coming away from the traditional stuff and more street modest? Things are changing, do you think? Because the young, this is definitely something I can see the youth, the sisters wearing. And do you think this is going to be something that's more adapted in the future
I definitely think that it will be. I have seen like a demand for this. Like I've only had this business for a year, and the amount of people that have been interested in the garments has been crazy. And obviously it's been hard to get it out there because it's not something you see often. So I've kind of like started from scratch and yeah, just trying to create that demand and show them, look, you've got options. And I do see a lot of, as this is a way forward, I do see modest streetwear becoming the next big thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of other modest wear brands out there doing the nice chiffon, silk abayas,
Yes.
but we don't see this often. So I think, especially for women, Muslim women in the West, I think this would really like, you know, encourage them to dress more modestly, but also be confident and, you know, be seen and heard. And
I mean, so who's your model? Who does all your trying on now?
At home, I kind of do it myself and sometimes my sister.
Yeah.
And obviously my friends as well, you know, they all help me.
Yeah. And how's your mum feel about this, your family?
Yeah, no, they're really happy, and they're really impressed. Like, obviously, only a year into business, and they're like, "You're going on to a TV show and, you know, awards and everything." So yeah, even I'm shocked myself as well. I didn't expect this.
And you're one of the nominees for the Business Awards.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Alhamdulillah. So tell us, you know, a little bit, you know, in terms of what is planned. What else is planned?
So inshallah, with like this year, I do want to start stocking Hoodjabi in different shops around the UK. So I mainly want to target like small businesses first because I feel like it would help them as well. And then inshallah, I do want to eventually go into like the high street and stock there.
Why not, inshallah?
Also like take Hoodjabi global. So we've actually got a lot of customers around the world, America, Canada, you know, whole of Europe as well. And there's a big demand for this.
Yeah.
So I do want to start working with businesses there as well, stocking there, but then also working with influencers and just making Hoodjabi go viral.
Yeah, absolutely. Inshallah, inshallah. So tell us a little bit about, you were here last year. And so from then till now, what have you learnt, or what kind of challenges have you come across?
So again, I think the challenge is mainly just, you know, with the designs, you know, keeping them modest. But Alhamdulillah, like, I would do a lot of designs. So even though, yes, it does get, oh, I really want that design, but it's not modest, I have to kind of just leave it. But no, so far, I think it's all going really well. Challenges I've faced, again, it's just, you know, just kind of like the workload, because I'm on my own. And I just feel like sometimes, like, I'm a sales assistant, I'm everything. I'm doing the designing, you know, you know, helping, like, talking to the manufacturers. I'm doing the packing. I'm sales assistant.
I mean,
as
are
well.
you looking to expand the team?
Yes, inshallah, I do. Within the next year, I do want to get someone on board with me and just create like a little, you know, Hoodjabi team.
Yeah, absolutely. Start creating, you know, a Hoodjabi family, and you know, hopefully. And how? I mean, how's in terms of your advertising? How's that been?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, it's going really well. So obviously, mainly online, like social media.
Social media platforms,
But recently, I've started looking into events. So I kickstart my first event, which was last month. We had an iftar event just for the customers, you know, invited the customers just to kind of show like appreciation.
So it's like a live, you said live, yeah?
No, iftar event. So during Ramadan, I organised a dinner for them.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, just invited the customers just to kind of like thank them, sat down with them, got to speak to them all.
I mean, that's a really a grown-up thing and a very ahead thing to do in a business. I know because, you know, being part of a business myself, that, you know, but we've been doing that more like 6 years on.
Yeah.
And you're already there, alhamdulillah, you know, you're already thanking people and bringing them on and you know.
Yeah, because again, this brand, it's not just clothing to me. It's like, I want to create a community. I want, you know, women to feel, you know, I want to hear their stories, sit down with them, ask them what they need, what they want, and then take that on board when I design. Yeah. So I think, you know, when I did my first event, it was really helpful. I got to hear how, you know, my brand has kind of like helped them in their everyday life.
I mean, have you done anything like on the runway or, you know, a catwalk or anything like that?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but that's in the,
inshallah
that's
soon.
in the pipeline. Inshallah, why not? Why not? There are lots of other businesses and that would be happy to collaborate or put something together, events and stuff. So you may be lucky because we've got our office is full of people and businesses at the moment. So you never know who you bump into. That's you're meant to be with. Okay, so tell us, so you've got some new designs planned, inshallah. You got some feedback from your customers, and has there been any negative feedback or anything that you did and you felt like, okay, yeah, this is not something that's going to work? And
no, I haven't actually received any negative feedback. I think it's just being online, the social media, it's a dangerous place in a way. Like I feel just like negative comments, just stuff like, oh, who would wear this? But yeah, again, like just from people that are not my customers.
That's great. And so what is motivating you?
You know what, I'm passionate about it. It's something I've always wanted to do. Yeah. And I think, I always think about, oh, what would my younger self be thinking right now?
Yeah.
And that makes me so, like, it makes me so happy that I'm doing. Yeah.
So, Sadia, people are watching you today and they're going to be looking at you and you're young, you're inspiring, and you've actually produced a product that people are visibly seeing and is actually, a great product, alhamdulillah. And what advice would you give to someone who is wanting to start a business in modest wear?
I'd say if you're passionate about something, then and you put your mind and heart to it, you will achieve it. It will take time, because obviously you have to start from scratch. Nothing comes easy. But like I said, as long as you're passionate, you work hard, you pray, inshallah everything falls into place, but you just need to take the first step. I think that's the hardest. Taking the first step is always the hardest. Yeah.
I mean, alhamdulillah, that's a good message there, and it's true. I think, once you made up your mind and it's about taking that first step and then just trying to do the best you can. And if it works, inshallah. And just and if it doesn't mean it's the end. It just means there's a delay for a reason.
Exactly.
So that's some great advice there from Sadia Hussain from the business of modest wear, Hoodjabi. And I would just like to thank you so much, Sadia, for being here today, and I really appreciate that you brought in some samples here for us to see as well, which you can see a bit closer on camera. And but thank you so much for being here today, and inshallah, I guess we will have you again in the near future, perhaps in a year's time, and we'll find out what your journey, how your journey's been. But thank you very much. It's been great to have you here on our show today, and thank you for everybody that's watching.